Okay, this game was definitely not scary and not at all underwhelming. So, you know what, let me just deep dive in and get to the points real quick. So, talking about the first half in general, I liked what Real Madrid are going for here in terms of being able to press up high initially in the initial stages of the first half. I like that, they're doing what they do best until Galatasaray came back with some jump scares of their own. It was something like they penetrated through the defense quite well with the first attempt, which Courtois saved. Props to Courtois for all the backlash he's been getting lately. I'll get to that, but but there was this one moment where Courtois can be applauded, at least for a few days from now. It was something like, it was a set piece and it was in the 13th minute, and literally the Real Madrid backline was sleeping at that moment. I don't know what was going on in their head, but Courtois produced an amazing save. So again, after those two attempts, Galatasaray came back, from when they were actually down and not being able to perform that well. Then for like a 10 to 15 minutes, like a proper 10 to 15 minutes, they were like playing really good. Gotta give them that. Until Real Madrid came off in the counter and scored a pretty good goal. It wasn't an amazing goal, it was a good team goal, to be honest. And Hazard got his assist, and actually he was aiming for Benzema, but he was lucky that he found Kroos, and off a deflection, it was the first goal. From this moment, the game was pretty much bland. Bland in the sense that the game had the same tone throughout. It was something like Real Madrid were now definitely were in control, and now they had to produce more and more goal scoring chances, which they did. But again, we have our own goal scoring problems with being able to put the ball in the back of the net, which I will be addressing in this video later on. And yes, later on in the first half, there were some good attempts, and it was a pretty good first half, to be honest, with if you eliminate those 10 to 15 minutes in which Galatasaray was in control. One aspect of the first half I'd like to take back is how underrated Fede Valverde as a player he is. Let me just say that he was intercepting and reading between the lines like crazy. I feel that he doesn't really get the amount of credit he deserves. And, just because he's not very great on the ball, I mean, he has pace. He reads the game quite well, to be honest. He was making a lot of interceptions and a lot of tackles in the first half, especially when he was breaking the Galatasaray team play. Props to him for that. And coming to his on the ball skill, he's not really great at that, so that's why I think people tend to ignore how good of a player he is. But anyway, the first half was a 0-1, and I think Fede Valverde, probably most people won't rate him that high, but for me, he was a standout performer alongside Kroos and Courtois. Now coming to the second half. The second half was a mere continuation of the first half itself, and like I mentioned, from that first goal itself, the play was pretty much bland. What I did notice here was we were able to put up decent amount of chances, not like high attacking play and constantly attacking, but we were able to put a decent amount of chances up there. And the problem is that we weren't able to put them into the back of the net. We were struggling to finish. So let me get this straight. Karim Benzema is our only goal scorer in the team. I don't think anyone would be able to, take the goal scoring responsibility upon their shoulders like he does. And that's the major problem, because Benzema is on paper a number 9, but does a lot more work than just a number 9. Like, he covers a lot of ground, drops back to provide that stability in the midfield, and again is always linking up with Hazard. So in that sense, he is not really a number 9, like a complete number 9. So he is the goal scorer, agreed, but that's the problem, because for him to do all of that and again ask him to be that number 9 that we expect him to, I feel that's not really fair. I mean, now you might be comparing us with Bayern now. Bayern, they have Lewandowski up front, who is like a complete goal scorer other than Lewandowski. The case in Bayern is different. They have much more comprehensive set of players at the moment. Lewandowski, this is not only about clinical finishing I'm talking about. This is about Lewandowski's work as a striker. I feel that in terms of the amount of ground that he covers, Benzema covers a lot more ground and takes a lot more of the responsibilities of the team, which is just not fair on his part. Real Madrid should go with a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-2 diamond with probably Hazard in the middle. I'm not going to get into that, but I feel that Luka Jovic should play alongside Benzema. The fact being that in 2016-17, this was a similar case. Cristiano Ronaldo was most of the time up front. He did very less of the defensive duties, whereas Benzema, is continuously linking up, again going front, and that's the kind of player he is. I'm not saying this to slate off anyone here. That's the kind of player he is, and I feel that he needs that support. But the problem is right now, Luka Jovic has not been very much up to the mark in the chances he has been given. However, I feel that he will come handy, and the boy is a gem, and he will do as many people want him to in the future. The substitutions in the second half. Eden Hazard went off for Vinicius Jr. and Fede Valverde went off for James Rodriguez. Now, this switch was basically to provide more of an attacking style to Real Madrid's play. Although I felt that after that change, there was very little change in the style of Real Madrid, in the way they attacked. It pretty much, was the same thing again. I felt like that change was more not like an attacking one, but probably to, give Valverde some rest and obviously Eden Hazard some rest. So that change felt like that, to be honest. I don't know what the intent was behind that change. I'm assuming it was to provide more of an attacking intent because we were only 1-0 up, and to get goals more and more is always a good thing to do. And for a team like Real Madrid, you need to rack up the goals. Now, Eden Hazard, his quality is unmatched among a lot of other players in the world. But his Real Madrid campaign has not been up to an impressive start, and also him being overweight and all has caused much more problems for him or whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but I felt this time he put in a decent performance, like a 7 out of 10 or a 6.5 out of 10 performance. With that being said, people are lashing out at him for missing that open goal, and what I say to that is, it happens sometimes. He's not a goal scorer. He could have finished that. He could have definitely finished that with the quality he has. But Eden Hazard enjoyed a sort of a decent game, although to his standards he could have done much better. But again, that open goal, it happens to everyone. So at least, it didn't happen when we were trailing or something like that. So I think he's somewhat in the safe zone. But Eden Hazard is a star player, and to give him more and more time is kind of, stretching the tolerance levels here. Because his quality is of that kind of sort where, you expect him to perform when he jumps right in. But anyway, he enjoyed a decent performance, and I think he will just get better over time. And James Rodriguez, I wouldn't rate him in this game. I wouldn't rate him that much. Not that much, actually. I wouldn't even rate him. I mean, I would just put him in the not applicable level because he had very less of the ball, and I didn't see much inclusion, from him into this play. And coming to Luka Jovic, the problem is Luka Jovic, I've just addressed in this video that he should be played much more. And the problem is either he is given very less minutes, like 10 minutes to show what he can do. Also, whenever he's given the chance, he bottles it. So either way, I think it's not been a very great start to his Real Madrid career. But the guy is young. Give him some time. I think he will come handy. At least you gotta give him time more. If you can give time, so much time for Hazard, you can definitely give time for Luka Jovic. Now, the final verdict. I thought Real Madrid could have done definitely better. Don't get me wrong, they were not at all underwhelming, they were not at all bad. But when it comes to the goal scoring part, like I've just mentioned, that could have been upped a little bit. And especially Benzema had a kind of an underwhelming game to his goal scoring standards. He was trying to put in a lot of shots, but like I said, we need another goal scorer alongside him. We can't just depend on Benzema for goals. He's not like a pure number 9. He doesn't play like that. He doesn't play like a pure number 9, like a striker. But anyway, yeah, so structurally I think we've improved, but again, whenever I say that, the next game we bottle it. I felt that Galatasaray had less intent in wanting to penetrate through the lines. But let me give the benefit of doubt to Real Madrid. They put in a good performance, especially at the back. I'm talking about Casemiro, Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane here. Sergio Ramos did slip up a bit there and here, with the clearances and everything. And obviously those jump scares in the 13th and the 15th minute. But I think throughout the game, on the whole, they did well. I think continuing this performance is what we need. And in terms of the goal scoring thing, I really think we should go with the 4-4-2 to provide more of an offensive threat up front. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe to the channel as always, and follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Link is in the description. All of the things I've just mentioned. Thank you guys and peace.